The easiest and simplest way to shape a knitted sock heel is by using heel flap and gusset construction. So here's a heel flap and here's the gusset part of the sock. As an example, I'm using a sock which I've already knitted using this type of construction, and in this video I will show how to form the base part of the heel flap, pick up the stitches along the side of the heel flap and shape the gusset. And just quickly explain the heel flap and gusset construction method if you're not familiar with this. And I think it's the basis of knitting the heel is very similar to other methods. So first of all, what we need to do is knit the sock to the required length. This is the length before forming a heel. Then split the stitches into half, leave one half of the stitches on your needles and form a heel flap with the other half of the stitches. There are two basic ways to figure out how long our heel flap should be. One is we try on the real foot and figure out how long it should be. This is probably the best method because we can knit the heel as close anatomically as possible. Or another method, as in my case, I knit the number of rows which are equal to the number of stitches I have on my heel flap. I have 36 stitches on my needle, so this is half of my sock is 36 stitches. Therefore, I've knitted 36 rows. Now I have my heel flap and I'm now ready to shape the bottom of my heel. I've put markers for the 3 sections of my heel flap, and I have 12 stitches on the left side, 12 stitches on the right side, and 12 stitches in the middle. In the first row, I'm going to knit stitches all the way to the end of the central part here, and then make my first stitch decrease. I slip the first stitch and then knit all the way to the end of the central stitches. I can now remove the second marker because I will not need it anymore, and here I will make my first decrease by knitting 2 stitches together, and these 2 stitches are the end of my first row. Turn the knitting over to the wrong side and continue knitting the second row. Again, I slip the first stitch and I've got to the first marker. This time I'm going to make a decrease by purling 2 together through the back loop. So here I just make a little bit of an ease so I can pick up the 2 stitches easier together, and then purl through the back. And this is the end of my second row. At the end of the second row, what we have is the central stitches here, and then we've now got gaps where we've decreased the stitches. And now I'm going to be knitting the middle part, and at the end of each row, picking up a stitch, depending where I am. So when I knit when I knit my third row on the right side, I'm going to be picking up a stitch here and make a decrease, and then turn the knitting over and then again make another decrease on each side. It should hopefully make more sense when I knit the third row. So again, I slip the first stitch, continue knitting until our gap, so here I've got 1 stitch left for the gap. I now need to make another decrease by knitting two together. So I'm gonna pick up one stitch from this side. So I just knit two together and turn the knitting over and repeat the process until I have no stitches left on both sides. Knit one more row on the wrong side. So here I have one purl stitch left. So I now need to purl two together to the back loop. Again, I'm just going to ease these two stitches a little bit so that it's easier to pick them up. So kind of stretch them out a little bit. Then go through the back, and then the easiest way to purl is to kind of put the right needle in front of the left needle and pull the yarn through. You might be able to see it that we already have a bit of a kind of shaping starting to form here on these corners. And I'm going to continue knitting until I have no stitches left on both sides, and then return when it's time to pick up stitches for the gusset bit. My heel base is now ready. I have finished on the right side, so I finished my last stitch decrease was on the wrong side, so I've ended up on the right side, which is where I need to be now for picking up stitches on the heel along the side the heel flap. My heel flap is 36 rows, and I'm going to pick up 19 stitches. I might end up picking up 20 stitches depending how it works out here in this corner, and I'll show you in a minute what to do next. Again, I slip the first stitch and then just knit my heel. From now on, my knitting will continue in the round. So for the heel base, I have 14 stitches. I'm going to pick up stitches on the side. It depends how you've started and ended your rows. I slipped my first stitch at the beginning of the row, so I've ended up with these kind of handles, and I'm going to use these handles for picking up stitches. You can see them to here. So I'm just going to pick up two of these, and then two of these, and then continue along the side. Now I have 18 stitches on my needle, and I just need to pick up one more to close the gap, so it does work out as 19 stitches. I've picked up stitches on this side of the heel flap. Now I need to knit in the round until I get to the other side of the heel flap, and then pick up the same number of stitches again. So now I've finished combining the stitches on the front part of the sock, and now I need to pick up stitches alongside of the other side of the heel flap. So again, I need 19 stitches. I'm going to use exactly the same method, but this time I'm going to start from the not on the heel from the heel base, but from the kind of ankle side. So start here. 1, 2. When you pick up the stitches, make sure that you pull your yarn tightly so you do not have unwanted holes formed in your gusset. I now have 19 stitches on the left side, 14 stitches in the middle which were left from the heel base, and then another 19 stitches on the other side of the heel flap, and then obviously then the top part of the sock, 18 stitches here and on this needle, and then 18 stitches on the other needle. I now have a lot more stitches than I originally had when I started the knitting, and that's okay, because now the excess stitches will be used to create the gusset by working the decreases. How are we going to approach the decreases? We're going to decrease, make right and left leaning decreases in every other row. Base of the heel flap, we're going to create right and left leaning decreases. I'm going to transfer some of the stitches onto another needle. So I've got four double pointed needles. I'm just going to incorporate another needle to knit in the round. So what I'm going to do here, I think I'm going to just work a few more. Before I start working on the decreases, I'm just going to knit one round. Before we start working on gusset decreases, it's a good idea to determine where your decreases are going to be, so it doesn't become too confusing. So if we look at our sock, so where my sock is at the moment, I have, so this is the top part of my sock, and this is the heel flap with a heel base here. So where I want my decreases to be are in these points here, so the base of the heel flap. So here I'm going to put a marker, so it reminds me that I need to make, on the right hand side, I need to make a right leaning decrease, so place marker here, and here is my left side of the heel flap, so I'm going to place a marker here as well, which is a reminder that I need to make a decrease here, left leaning decrease, in every other row. How do we make the decreases for the heel flap? So the right leaning decrease, simply knit the last two stitches together like so. I'm actually going to hang the marker onto my stitch rather than needle, because they will fall down. So I'm just going to attach it to my knitting, so that I know that I need to make the decreases on this side. And now I'm just going to continue knitting to the other side. So here I need to make a left leaning decrease, and for that I slip one, knit one, and then pull one over. And I'm going again, place the marker onto, attach the marker onto my stitch, so that I know it's the beginning of my next decrease. To knit one round without making the decreases, and then again repeat the decreases in every other round. My gusset is now complete. So here's my heel flap, and here's the formed gusset. Now I have 72 stitches back on my knee gusset. Here's what it looks like on the right side, and the mirror side, and here is what it looks like on the left